It is official. The Eagles have made their decision about this final regular season game against the Giants and whether or not they will play their starter. So we'll talk about the decision and ultimately whether it was the correct one. Also, Nick Sirianni just spoke to the media a few minutes ago, and he offered some extra insight on why he came to this decision. We'll talk about the status of Jalen Hurts right now, and the Eagles are about to get a very potent weapon back that I think people have forgotten about. Welcome on into A to Z Philly. Happy New Year. I'm RB. Do me a huge favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We are chasing 10K subs. Hope everybody had a happy, healthy, safe New Year's. And it starts off with a bang for sure, as we just heard Nick Sirianni talk to the media a few minutes ago. And the decision has been made. Ladies and gentlemen, the Eagles will be resting Saquon Barkley and other starters on Sunday against the Giants, Nick Sirianni tells reporters. So Saquon Barkley will not have the opportunity to break the single-season rushing record against his former team. Yes, it was setting up to be the perfect situation. Yes, it would have been poetic justice. Yes, it would have all fallen into line. But Nick Sirianni decides to ultimately look at it from a higher aspect in terms of keeping the team healthy. And here is what he had to say on making the decision. Quote, "We are going to rest some guys. I know we're locked into the 2 seed. There are going to be some guys resting. There are going to be some guys rested. You can't rest everybody. That is our plan. Saquon will be someone who rests. That played into our decision. Our bye week being in week 5, very early. It's very valuable to be in this position to do that." Now, I have some thoughts on that, but a little bit more context from Nick here on the record and not pursuing it. He says, quote, "I'm not going to get into all that. I mean, obviously a lot plays into it. It's a very special record that has been standing for a very long time by a great player. It's a team record that everybody's involved in, so you weigh in all those things. But at the end of the day, you do what is best for the team. It's not easy. It was not the easiest decision, but we have great people in this building and had a lot of input from a lot of different people, players included." So after listening to this press conference a few minutes ago, the main takeaway I had from Nick Sirianni was it was a collective decision, but it ultimately feels like it came down from the higher-ups, from Howie and Jeffrey. And it was nice for Nick to say that a lot of the other guys had support. Like, they all came to him. They all talked probably with the whole O-line and whoever else is going to be playing or not playing, and he probably asked everyone their opinion, and they said, pretty much, we want to do what's best for the football team. And honestly speaking, this is what is best for the football team. I know everybody has gotten wrapped up this week in, well, Saquon can make history, and I've heard so many different takes, and it honestly felt like a lot of people were more on the side of playing him and letting him get that record. And we know that he would have gotten a record, right? Like, we can just look back and say, yeah, you know, he would have had that. It sucks that he's not going to have the once-in-a-lifetime chance to get it. But we know he was good enough to do it. What Saquon did this season will never be forgotten. But you know how it'll be even more memorable is if they go through the playoffs and dominate, and they come out on top with that Lombardi trophy. I know the record is sweet, and a lot of people say, well, let's do both. Why not do both? Yeah, but the risk is very, very high. The risk reward, right? Like, we can all be honest here. If Saquon goes down in this game and, you know, he's playing against the Giants who have nothing to play for, they just screwed up their draft pick, they're pissed off, they don't want to see him get the record against them, they're probably going to try to go out there and chip him a bit and bang him up, just like the Cowboys did with Kenny Pickett and others. So, you know, you risk Saquon getting hurt, and if he goes down, this team has no chance of winning the Super Bowl. Don't give me the, oh, well, the back of it. No. Saquon is special, man. He is a game changer. He has been the identity of this football team. If he goes down with an ankle sprain or whatever, like, you are risking a lot. And even if your offensive line, say Lane Johnson, who's getting up there in age, goes down, or Jordan Mailata, you are really screwing this football team for what is hopefully destined to be a special run. So I agree that this is the right decision. I said it from the jump. I think a lot of people let their emotions get into it, as they should, right? But overall, do you want the record, or do you want a chance at being fully healthy going into the playoffs and try to go make a run? You go back to 2022, that bye week was so important. It was so crucial. You just saw other teams who were tired. They were exhausted, And you saw the way the Eagles came out after having that bye week, and they were just flying through the playoffs. They were whopping people. So, look, if you can create your own bye week, which is essentially what you have the chance to do here, I think you have to do it, right? Especially with Detroit and Minnesota playing head-to-head this final week for the 1 seed. Like, they have to go all out and try. I do understand the argument of like, hey, this could give some more adrenaline, some more dopamine to this team. Like if they break a record and they're flying on all cylinders and they're confident, whatever, but you can't risk it. And I respect Nick Sirianni for getting inputs from everybody, but you know, I thought he was actually going to let him play. So Nick makes the tough decision, and I think he's fine with that. Lane Johnson said, we just wanted to get to 2,000. We were fine with that. Better to be safe than sorry. And I think that played itself out on display. Like, you know, the Eagles forced him to get the 31 carries. They got him the 2K, and immediately they took him out. So our first gut instinct was correct, and they were not going to let him play this week regardless. And I think Saquon's okay with that. I think he's okay as a humble teammate. He's done everything right. He's said everything right. He's not cocky. He's not all up in his own head. He doesn't have the ego. He wants to win. Like he said, I came here to do bigger things, you know, bigger fish to fry, eyes on the prize. So shout out to Saquon Barkley. And just to wrap this up, man, I mean, Saquon had a better season than Eric Dickerson did in 1984. And I know Eric Dickerson was salty and he was whining all week. Well, guess what? Saquon had 100 less yards in 34 less carries. Saquon would have shattered your record. Saquon had a better season. And it's crazy the way that Eric Dickerson acted in this scenario. But, you know, what Saquon did this season will never be forgotten. It was one of the most special seasons in NFL history. And to do it here in Midnight Green was incredible. So shout out to Saquon Barkley. All right, let's talk about a couple other important things. Jalen Hurts is still in concussion protocol per Nick Sirianni. And the way he was talking about it in the press conference almost makes me feel like he might not even play. Maybe that's another reason why this could be into consideration, right? Like, I thought, all right, maybe they bring Jalen Hurts back and they kind of disguise it as, all right, we're going to play Saquon just because Jalen needs to get some reps in, right? Just because he needs to get comfortable with his O-line, his running back before they go into the playoffs. But now it's starting to feel like his status could be in doubt. And if this is the case, I'm not going to say I'm like overly concerned, but I'm definitely worried a bit. You know, missing pretty much the last couple games and then going right into the playoffs after pretty much almost not playing for 3 games. Takes a little bit of time to gel, you know, to get that rhythm back, to get that game rhythm back, that preparation week rhythm back. So I'm a little concerned if Jalen doesn't play this game. The best case scenario is they get him ready. He goes out there, he plays 1 or 2 drives, just gets into his flow. Then they can pull him out. Of course, Nick Sirianni's not going to offer up a lot of, you know, insight on that, but it sounded like, you know, he's still in concussion protocol. Injury might have been a bit worse than we thought, and that's where it stands. So we'll see if Jalen Hurts plays. But one guy who is coming back for the Eagles is Dallas Goedert. They have opened the practice window, and I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about him. You know what I mean? I know he's not the top primary option on the offense, but with Saquon, with AJ, Devontae, now you throw Goedert into the mix, who obviously gets hurt a lot, but he's a very good player. He's a good tight end. He's much better as a blocker than Grant Calcaterra and some of these other cats. So, you know, getting Dallas Goedert back, just a more veteran-like professional, is going to be huge for this team. And I hope they can get him on the field, get him some reps, because I think if Jalen trusts him, especially as that security blanket, depending on who they go up against in the playoffs, I mean, Dallas Goedert could have one of those big games like he did earlier this season against New Orleans, and he could be a really big impact for this team. So don't forget about Dallas Goedert. The tight end position matters. I know they have the best wide receiver duo in the league. They have a generational running back, but getting Dallas Goedert back is going to mean a lot for this team. So I hope he can play this weekend and get into his flow. So at the end of the day, we will see what happens. Saquon will not play this weekend, but the Eagles backups and some of these other guys will get a chance to shine, and the Eagles will hopefully get healthy and rested and ready to fly through the playoffs. Give me your thoughts on the decision down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I'll catch you on the next one.
On BetMGM Casino, there are so many jackpots that you never know when one will go. So many jackpots. So many jackpots. So many jackpots.
BetMGM Casino. Jackpots, so many.
Download to get a 100% deposit match up to $1,000, plus $25 on the house. BetMGM Casino.